The first thing I would say about journalism is it's an amazing profession to change the world. So people who are passionate about improving things and making the place better, journalism is a wonderful career opportunity for doing that. The thing that's amazing about our journalism program is that you get incredible hands-on real-world experience. Every class that you're in, you're out there doing journalism. And the stories that you do in your class, whether they're on video or they're written or they're data or investigative, they have the potential to change the world.
When I first took a journalism class in high school, I thought I was going to hate journalism. I really loved creative writing. I thought journalism was super dry and boring. After the first couple stories, I just fell in love, and I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Before going to the University of Arizona, I knew what my passions were. I knew that I liked to tell stories, that I was a natural storyteller. Why not journalism?
What skills don't you get in a journalism program? I think that's your question. You're gonna become an amazing critical thinker. You're gonna learn how to communicate effectively, be it through writing, be it through social media, be it through video. You're gonna be able to do research to spot when someone's not telling you the truth. There's no more important role right now in society than helping people get the information they need to make informed decisions.
I am currently working with Arizona Public Media as a field production technician. So in other words, I get to go out and be a part of the incredible process of filmmaking. So I get to work on a variety of different shows. It's just an amazing opportunity because I get to work with some very talented people.
Well, journalism, the profession itself is like radically changing, and technology, like in any field, is having drastic changes. In our journalism program, we try and keep up with those changes. And so one of the things we're doing is drones. We're focusing a lot on drones. We have a new drone class that's in the works that teaches people how to get their license so they can go out and fly a drone commercially. So in addition to those like normal journalism jobs that we hear about all the time, we have students that have gone on and gotten law degrees and have become doctors.
I ended up loving journalism through high school, so I ended up majoring in it. I ended up doing a dual degree with molecular and cellular biology as well as journalism. Translating it to medicine I felt like was easy. I was able to take patient stories and translate that to how I want to treat them, and then being able to communicate that. This is our treatment machine, one of our linear accelerators where the patients will get their treatments. I feel like journalism really has helped me more on a humanized level than just, memorizing data and spitting it out at the consultation.
So there's all kinds of different roles that you can do if you have a journalism degree. And you can see it on the students, they just love trying new things. They love to experiment. And that's something we're really passionate about. What is important now, in 10 years may not be. But if you're the type of student that can go out and try something new and experiment, you're gonna be valuable wherever you go. Hi there. Thanks for watching that short video about our program. My name is Michael McKisson, and I'm the Associate Director and a Professor of Practice in the School of Journalism. And I'm excited to introduce some current and former students, faculty members, and advisors in the School of Journalism, just to have a brief conversation about what the School of Journalism is like, what you can do with a journalism degree, and how you can get involved. So first, I'd like to invite Pascal to introduce yourself.
Hi there, my name is Pascal Albright. I'm a current journalism student who's also involved in clubs and student media and kind of all things journalism on campus.
Awesome, thank you so much. And how about Mariana Dale?
Hi, I'm Mariana. I'm a reporter at KPCC. It's the NPR public radio station in Los Angeles. I graduated from the University of Arizona School of Journalism in 2014.
Excellent, thank you. And how about Ruxandra Guidi?
Hello, I'm Ruxandra Guidi, or Rux. I am a new faculty member at the school. I'm an assistant professor of practice teaching the capstone, but I have been doing journalism for a little over 20 years.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, if you join our program, is Paloma Boykin.
Hi guys, I'm Paloma Boykin. I'm the Senior Academic Advisor for the School of Journalism, and I'm also a 2008 graduate of the program as well.
Awesome, thank you. Pascal, I'd like to start with you. Can you just tell us a little bit about what it's like to be a journalism student?
Awesome, yeah. So being a journalism student, if you really want to take advantage and learn as much as you can, involve yourself in everything you can journalism. So while you're taking classes, there's a lot of real great hands-on experience that you get from the professors, both inside and outside of the classroom. Take advantage of that. Also, through things like student media and through clubs, there's a lot of different ways to get involved. So if you're really in for the journalism game, really surround yourself with as much of the content, as much of the people as you can, because that's how you really embrace and learn as much as you can. And so that's a really great thing about being a journalism student.
And Pascal, you're the advisor of the Society of Professional Journalists here on campus. What kinds of events and things do you do?
That's correct. So outside of the classroom, I am currently the president of the Society of Professional Journalists, which is our local chapter made up of students in journalism. And essentially we put on events or bring in guest speakers to talk about a bunch of different topics, from how to cover things like coronavirus in the early on stages to how to deal with trauma in reporting. And it's very much what students want. And we're a platform to kind of use our name and our resources to bring in things outside of the classroom for students and build opportunities for them to learn.
And are you also involved in the Daily Wildcat as well?
That's correct. I'm also currently the managing editor at the Daily Wildcat, and I've been part of student media for my whole time as a student journalist. And that is another great way to take what you learn in the classroom and put it to practice and really just enhance your skills from what you're learning.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Pascal. I appreciate it. Now, switching over to Mariana. So can you tell us a little bit about what it is you do in your job as a journalist, and some of the things that you learned in the journalism school that may have helped you in your career now?
Yeah, I realized I should have been a little bit more expansive in my description, because I introduced myself as a radio reporter, but just about any story that you hear that I've worked on is going to live on the radio. You're going to see it on social media. You are going to read it on our website, laist.com, and each of those stories is going to be distinct from the other. And so what I learned at U of A and in the program was that there wasn't just one way to tell a story. And I think if I had left that program and said, you know, I'm only going to write or I'm only going to take photos, I really wouldn't be equipped to be a working journalist. I can say that, you know, I've done all of those things in my career. I've had to produce video, I've had to take my own photos. I'm often juggling like recording equipment and a camera, and I'm tweeting about what's happening at the same time, and, you know, trying to file all these different types of stories. And so that was definitely part of my education, is you have all of these tools at your disposal. Now, how do I use them to craft a story that's informative and compelling and reflective of the community that you're in?
And what is it like to be a working journalist right now?
It's really stressful, but it's really, really rewarding. I was really shy as a kid, but I was always really curious. And so I feel like this job gave me the tools to act on my curiosities and engage in the world in a really meaningful way. Because I think we get tricked sometimes into thinking there's so much information out there. You can Google anything and it's so easy to learn things. But in terms of finding actual facts, that can be really, really challenging. And so I feel like, you know, the role of a journalist is to kind of reflect this community that you're in, find information that is important to people, but also expose people to narratives that are so different from their own, and see the threads that are common, and have your world assumptions challenged all the time. I'm always having the way that I think about the world being challenged, and I really wouldn't want it any other way, even if it is a little stressful sometimes.
Well, and this is always a hard question, but the story that you've worked on that you're most proud of?
No. That is really hard. This is the worst question ever. I guess because I just get really attached to all my stories. I really, that's part of why I pursue the stories that I do, is there's some nugget of something interesting inside of it, even if it's really unexpected. It's like some weird zoning thing that came up at a city council meeting. Right now, I cover early childhood, so my focus is children 0 to 5 and their families. And I've talked to a lot of really stressed out parents. And so most recently, I did this story about working moms and how they're just really being clobbered by the pandemic. It's so stressful. The decisions they're making about their careers right now could impact them for the rest of their lives. And just giving people a chance to like breathe and reflect on what they're experiencing that right now and know that they're not alone in that was really powerful to me.
All right. Well, thank you. So Rux, you have had a long career doing lots of different work, and now you're here sort of sharing your knowledge with the students in the School of Journalism. What kinds of jobs and things can you do with a journalism degree?
I think it's really important to remember that journalism at the end of the day is telling stories. And I always like to remind students about that. It's telling stories about facts, about current issues, people, places, to put it simply. And I think that's a skill that translates to just about anything. You know, being a journalist, besides telling stories, really teaches you how to be a good communicator, how to be quick on your feet, how to speak publicly. Like Mariana, was a very shy kid too. And sometimes I wonder, why did I choose journalism, right? Like it's the hardest thing for me still today after 20 plus years. But the more you do it, the better you get at it. And you realize that like as a journalist, your job is really, or being trained as a journalist, your job is to communicate those stories and to be some sort of the person that connects the dots, the person that translates meanings and that draws attention to things that matter. So I think the skills that you pick up in journalism school or as a journalist are valuable in every setting, really. And they train you to be a good hustler, to figure out how to get that information, to tell that story right, to move fast, to meet deadlines. I honestly think it's great training for anybody, no matter what career they want to go into.
And Rex, you mentioned hustling. I mean, I think that a lot of people kind of hear the, maybe the negative numbers of sort of traditional news organizations. But for a lot of your career, you did your own hustling and you were your own boss. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. By hustling, I mean like having to figure things out, having to carve your own path. And for me, that was very empowering. I mean, no doubt being a freelancer and working independently and trying to negotiate rates or competing for very coveted jobs can be stressful and can be difficult. But I think freelancing is really another word for being your own boss and for coming up with ideas and establishing your own solutions to things, right? So one of the things that I wanted to do when I became a freelancer is I wanted to tell stories internationally in collaboration with someone else. And I wanted to be telling stories about Latin America for an American audience that I wasn't seeing anywhere else. And so as a freelancer, I really tried to figure out, how can I fill a need? How can I basically design something that fills a need and that makes me indispensable, right? I think as journalists today, it's good to know how to be a good freelancer. It's good to know how to come up with our own story ideas and sell our own ideas. That's our main asset. But I think it's actually a very exciting time to be a journalist, whether you choose freelancing or a staff job, because we're all open to new ideas and we need innovation in this industry. And honestly, one of the clearest ways to get there is to work independently or in collaboration with others to work as freelancers.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Sure.
Well, and now I assume if you're still watching this video, you're probably pretty interested in the journalism program. So I want to turn it over to Paloma Boykin, our academic advisor, who will become your best friend when you're in our program. So if their students are here and they're interested in getting involved or declaring the major, what do they do? What's the next step for them?
So the best way to indicate interest in the major is to reach out to me via email. My email address is my last name, so it's Boykin, Boykin 1, so the numeral 1 at email.arizona.edu or boykin1@arizona.edu. Send me a quick email. I will send you a link to schedule an advising appointment, and we can actually just we can talk about the major, about requirements, potential classes that you can take, and I will set you up with a plan. And as Mike said, we will become best friends by the time you graduate.
And Paloma, they get to see, I mean, we're one of the fortunate programs that has a Paloma, and you help the students from their freshman year to their senior year, and you help them devise their plan of study, what classes to take when. Is that true?
It is. I really like to create a 4-year plan with you. Just know that things aren't set in stone. Things can change. Like, say if you decide freshman year, first semester, you want to study abroad for a year, and then you get to the point where you're like, I don't want to do this. I want to do internships instead. I want to study abroad in the summer. We can totally change it. The plan is not set in stone, and it's flexible. And if you want to take 4 classes one semester and then 6 the next semester, I'll work with you, and we can actually have really meaningful conversation in terms of what's right for you as a student right then and there.
Awesome. Thank you. And now I have to ask that cliched last journalism question, since I'm interviewing journalists. Is there anything that I didn't ask or that we didn't touch on that we should have touched on for a student who is thinking about entering the journalism program?
You know what? Don't be afraid. I really think that you need to dip your toe in the water and see if it's right for you. If you like talking to people, uncovering facts, trying something new, I think college is a great time to get out there and try something, and it's okay to fail. And if you fail, I will pick you up. We will come up with a plan to get you to graduation. One of the things that I always tell my students is if I have to drag you across the stage at graduation, I will. And I love when you guys reach your goals, succeed them. Graduation is fun, but it's sad. And I'm sad to see my kids leave. I'm a proud mama bear every single day.
Thank you. That's awesome. Pascal?
Don't be afraid to ask questions. I mean, journalists in training, the more questions you ask, the more answers you will get. And I mean, that's what we're trained to do. And that's on all levels, not just questions for classwork, but questions on personal things. I mean, we're all probably going through similar stuff, so don't be afraid.
Awesome. All right, anything else? Oh,
I would just add that so many of us, I myself, when I decided I wanted journalism, I had a fixed idea of what a journalist is. And I was thinking, oh, it's someone like Christiana Amanpour, it's someone who covers politics in Washington. But there's all kinds of journalists, right? I mean, there's photojournalists and folks who do video and editors and social media and people who want to work internationally and others who want to be, behind the scenes as producers. So I think as long as you have a passion for stories and for current events, sports, fashion, it's all, it all falls under the umbrella of journalism, and there's a job out there for you.
Awesome. Mariana, any parting words?
Yeah, I would say that people also shouldn't be intimidated if they don't feel like their life experience isn't reflected in the media that they consume right now, because right now the journalism industry and a lot of media outlets are really reckoning with that. And I think if you don't see your story, then you are the perfect one to tell that story and to go into your community and find the issues and find the stories that the people should really know about. And we really need your voice right now. We need so many kinds of different voices to tell the story of what's happening in the world right now. And I think this program is a place where you can get the skills to do that.
Awesome. That's a great ending thought. I really appreciate all of you spending a few minutes chatting with future journalists, and those future journalists that are watching. I can't wait to see you here at the University of Arizona School of Journalism. Thanks so much.